In this episode, we're going to travel to Eternia to look at more weird, rare, and awesome products from the 1980s. So, stick around. Fellow dorks and dorkettes, and welcome to Nostalgia Syndrome. In this episode, we're going to take a look at some more weird, rare, and awesome products from the 1980s. This time, it's Masters of the Universe. This is the third time that we've taken a look at He-Man, Skeletor, and their crew of friends and foes to see what kind of weird products were made in the 1980s. The 1980s was the beginning of the Wild West of marketing, where a lot of really neat and a lot of really weird items were being marketed with really popular commercialized properties on them. We talk about G.I. Joe quite a bit. We've talked about Masters of the Universe a few times, and we've even talked about Dungeons and Dragons that had their chance in the limelight for a very short amount of time. But like I said, in this episode, we're going to talk about Masters of the Universe products. Number one on the list is something that you don't see a lot of nowadays, and that is a bop bag or a punching bag. Nowadays, they have real authentic leather ones with UFC emblazoned on them and crap like that. But back in the day, these vinyl inflatable punching bags were awesome. You fill the bottom with water, blow it up, and you could hammer away at it all day. Back in the day, they would have licensed characters on them, and in this case it was Masters of the Universe. The artwork that was featured comes from, well, let's just say it, the marketing catalog that came out that companies would get. It was the full-bodied picture of either He-Man or Skeletor with an awesome banner at the bottom with their name on it. Now, there were a couple other styles, one of He-Man in a battle pose and one with He-Man with Battle Cat. It's really odd that there's more He-Man to beat up than there are Skeletor. I mean, you would think it would be the other way around, that kids would want to pretend to be He-Man and duke it out with Skeletor. But in this case, it seems like they want kids to pretend to be Skeletor and punch the crap out of He-Man. I'm all for that. There may be other styles out there, but these are the ones that I could find online. And they're awesome. I mean, this would be a really neat addition to anyone's collection. You could have them inflated, just hanging out, take your frustrations out on them, what have you. Number two on the list is an alarm clock. It came in two different styles. One of them is a talking alarm clock. This one really intrigues me because I wonder what it said and how it sounded. Now, I can guarantee it probably wasn't the Filmation voice because the style of the art on the clock does not fit the cartoon at all. But I just envision a burly voice just yelling in your face to wake up, feel the power of the day. You can do it, dude. Just yelling at you to wake you up. Now the other one, I don't know if it had talking features. I doubt it did because there were two different styles, like I said. They probably had a talking one for a few dollars more and then a normal one. Now, the normal one, what makes it really cool is the artwork on it. They were like plastic or rubberized relief of the characters coming off to kind of give it a 3D effect on the clock face. So you had He-Man and Skeletor in their classic battle poses, like they're getting ready to face off. And they're, like I said, a really neat plastic or rubber relief character coming off. Now, the talking one just featured regular artwork that had Tila included, which is really cool. But the talking thing, man, I wish I could hear it right now. While we're on the subject of telling time, let's take a look at these He-Man wristwatches. These came in three different styles that I could find online. There may be more. But talk about fashionable and awesome. The first one, big silver face with He-Man, says Masters of the Universe on it. Right there, that is perfection. I mean, you rock that, you had the ladies swooning, you get into any club, you would be the man. or the woman if you were wearing one. Number 2 is you had a smaller one with a red leather-esque band with He-Man and Battle Cat on it. Also cool, but not as big, not as domineering, telling people that you mean business. And number 3, also another smaller band one, came with the merchandising artwork of He-Man on it. All 3 of these were awesome. And like I said, if you had one of those on the playground, you would have been the king. You know, you would have been calling the shots from the monkey bars or wherever and just being awesome. Number 4 is something that we've talked about in a previous G.I. Joe episode, and that is the infamous cake pan. The cake pan featured He-Man, and he has his power sword, has a shield, and you're supposed to put your birthday wishes on the shield part of it, because it probably would have been really hard to decorate the actual shield using a pastry bag thing. And believe me, just like I said in the G.I. Joe one, they never turned out as well as the artwork depicted. It's like the whole Pinterest craze of nothing looks as good on when you make it as it does on Pinterest. This was the beginning of that. Because, I mean, I never had one, but I would assume you talk your mom into getting it for you. It's my birthday, I want a He-Man cake, and it's going to look like this. And then when you get it, it don't look like that. It looks like just normal smeared icing with trying to... And let me make a correction to the G.I. Joe one, that this one has as well, a plastic face that you drop on it. In the G.I. Joe one, I joked that you would have to put a smiley face on it, you know, just plop, plop, plop. No, this comes with a plastic face you drop on there, so at least that part would look good, and the rest would kind of look weird, you know, with like yellow buttercream hair, with this plastic weird face right in the middle. But anyway, if any of you had talented enough mothers that could pull it off, God bless you, because most of us did not. Number 5 on the list is a classic, and that is Halloween costumes. These plastic-faced and rubber-smocked, trash bag, awesome Halloween costumes were something I always wanted but never got. Now, you could say I had it better because my mom would piece things together and make homemade ones, but when you get that all the time and it doesn't work out perfectly all the time, you just want to buy one of these boxes and have the character of your dreams right there on you while you trick or treat. Anyway, these costumes came out from 1982 to 1985. Made by Ben Cooper, you had characters such as He-Man and Skeletor, Beastman, Merman. I mean, how awesome would it have been to be Merman? Later on, they had characters like Hordak and stuff. So it just kept growing, kept evolving, and kept being awesome. Number 6 on the list are soap dishes. These rubber floating soap dishes featured He-Man riding the Dragon Walker and Skeletor riding the Land Shark. How awesome is that? I mean, it actually just now popped into my head that there weren't any aquatic vehicles for He-Man, which is really weird. You would think that they would have to jump in some kind of boat of some sort to, you know, go after Merman and all of his cronies in the ocean. So that's weird that they never did that. They never really had specialized vehicles like for snow or water. Huh. Anyway, I digress. But these little floating soap dishes came with little itty bitty bars of soap and just looked great. They also had one with He-Man on that red roadster thing. The name escapes me, but that thing was awesome too. These would look great sitting on your shelf with the rest of your Masters of the Universe collection. I mean, they are a little weird looking, but awesome nonetheless. While we're talking about bath time fun, number 7 is a bath mitt and soap. These foam bath mitts featured artwork of He-Man and Skeletor. And they functioned like a puppet that you could clean yourself with. Now, they were made from foam with the artwork printed on it, so that probably didn't last that long, which is probably why you don't see a lot of these out on the second market, selling on eBay and stuff. But with each mitt, you got 3 different little bars of soap, and each one featured great artwork of Skeletor and He-Man in various battle poses. After you're done your bath, it's time to head off to bed. And what better way to say goodnight than with a Heman Nightlight? This character nightlight of He-Man is awesome. Made from blown plastic. I mean, it's great. I love stuff like this. I mean, it's not just a screen printed picture on a cover. It's an actual caricature of He-Man. It probably didn't light up your room very brightly, but who cares when you have a light up He-Man in your corner ready to fend off any nightmare you may have. Now, number 9 on the list is a biggie, and these are roller skates. Released in 1985, these roller skates are just perfection. These black and red leather roller skates featured artwork of Teela, He-Man, Man-at-Arms, and Orko. And it looks awesome. I mean, I love it when you take 2 timeless 80s things and just jam them together. Roller skating and Masters of the Universe in one awesome relic. Surprisingly, you can find a lot of these online for a big, hefty price. But it would almost be worth it. I mean, granted, you're never going to wear them. Or if you do, that's awesome. But just imagine having this type of just timeless, classic relic, like I said, just sitting on your shelf. I mean, the artwork was also depicted on the box, and it just looks, like I said, like perfection. Now, number 10 on the list, and to wrap this up, are Walkie Talkies. Another timeless relic of the 80s. I mean, I don't know if kids even know what a walkie-talkie is nowadays because they have cell phones. But back in the day, this was the only way you could communicate to your friends while you were running through the yard or house to house with your neighbor. Or so movies led me to believe. Anyway, these featured an awesome Castle Grayskull backdrop with He-Man's axe and sword and shield right at the top. I mean, it would have been neat if they had a Skeletor and a He-Man, but these were both He-Man and they're both awesome. Anything that features that great stonework of Castle Grayskull is definitely awesome. What would have been even more awesome was to have these walkie-talkies and a friend to go along with them. This was just a quick list of 10 Masters of the Universe products from the 1980s. Some are weird. Most are rare, but all of them are awesome. As a kid, I would have given anything to have a few of the items on this list. I mean, definitely that watch. That would have been so boss to have. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you got something to say, please leave a comment. I love reading them and I love getting back to everybody. And if you're new around here and you enjoyed this, or any of the episodes that YouTube is recommending down here, please hit subscribe. And if you hit that little bell icon, you'll be notified whenever there's a new episode. So until next time, thanks for watching. Keep being rad and stay dorky.